there's this other guy.
My character had her hands full. Very nice to finally meet you all. And I came to get some... She was abashed at his presence. Me just like judging all the characters that I wrote.
This man.
Welcome back, peeps, to another video. My voice sounds kind of weird because I've got to bring water down, so let's hope I don't lose my voice. Today, I was on YouTube watching videos, as you do, and I watched this very hilarious video of someone reading out some writing that they did when they were like 13, and I just happened to write a book when I was 13 or 14, and so I was like, I should read it. I should read it. It would be really funny. I've got the first novel I ever wrote here on my phone. It's called A Journey for Her. It used to be called The Happenings of Miss Langdon, and then everyone was like, that is way too long, and it was way too long. A Journey for Her is still kind of a lame name. Well, I mean, it's alright, but anyway, that's just what my 13 or 14, I can't remember when I wrote it. I was probably 14. What my 14-year-old self named the book, so that's what it is. We have like the little contents page here. Book 1, Mystery. I'm not going to obviously read the whole book to you because it's 74 pages. That would get boring. I'm just going to pick out bits that I remember being funny. Okay, this story is set like Jane Austen times. I've always been really into that era and I want to write another book in that sort of era, or just a period piece in general. Anyway, so I wrote this book. I don't know, it had no planning. I kind of just made it up as I went. It's about a girl called Catherine Langdon.
She lives with her family. One sister who is really vain but pretty and everyone loves her. She has another sister who's really grumpy all the time. And then she has her dad and her mum.
I think her parents are alive. That's unusual because usually I would have expected myself to kill off all the parents.
So basically she lives back in time. She's like this really timid, like scared of everything sort of person.
One more thing.
There's this other guy
who was like a childhood friend / neighbour, who's kind of one of her love interests. Okay, you know, here's what we'll do. I'll read out the meeting. Oh, actually there's 3 love interests. My character had her hands full. When I think about it, I'm like, did I have to put in 3 guys?
Probably not.
So, Sir Henningston is the
first candidate.
Okay, is the first love interest in this book. Wow, what a name, just to start off with.
Not a sound was carried to Catherine's window that morning until she heard the hollow sound of horse hooves. Upon looking out the window, she perceived a young man riding a black horse. He sat tall on his beautiful steed. The girl in the window disappeared to go and tell her family of the new arrival. The first to know was Mr. Langdon. Father, a man has just arrived on a black horse. Who do you think he could be? Oh, it must be Sir Henningston. I had quite forgot that he was coming. Who is he? Asked Catherine. The son of a friend. I told Mr. Henningston that any of his family are fully welcome to come and make use of our home. He wrote to me a week ago and asked if his son might come. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So the son's come to stay.
Typical.
As he entered the room, Mr. Henningston, Mr. Langdon rose to greet him. Sir Henningston, how good to see you. As it is to see you, sir, replied the stranger with an agreeable smile. Let me introduce you to my family, Mr. Langdon continued. My wife, Mrs. Langdon, the eldest Miss Langdon, and the youngest, Catherine. Julia is presently away.
How very nice to finally meet you all, cried Sir Henningston. He's like, how very nice to finally meet you all. Okay, so that obviously the first meeting between Sir Henningston and Catherine was kind of just like, nothing even happened. Sir Henningston walked into the open door. Catherine was at the time reading, and at its entrance looked up and stood up at once. Quite unsure of what to do, she simply stood very still and glanced nervously around. What an introvert. The interloper noticed her uneasiness and spoke to her kindly. I am very sorry to walk in on you. I do believe I took a wrong turn. Could you be so kind as to direct me to the dining room? Oh, of course. I was about to go down myself, replied the girl. No, you weren't, girl. No, you weren't. You were reading. You were reading. And then you're like, oh, I'm going down. Anyway, that was the first meeting of first dude, just one of the characters in the book, Sir Henningston. He honestly has no personality, but his problem, not mine. I wrote it. So the next dude that who she's about to meet, he's like the family friend and neighbour. He's kind of cute, this guy. Like, he's kind of like a very sweet person, you know, like he's golden, sort of.
Okay, so she hasn't seen him in ages, and she's on this picnic, and then she goes off into the trees because she's so bored of her family.
Catherine Langdon, could it be? Yes, sir, I am who you guess, replied Catherine, smiling timidly up at him. I am who you guess. If anyone just asks, like, Nikia, is that you? I'll just be like, I am who you guess. Does that make sense? Oh dear, have I interrupted your peace? He questioned as he got down from his horse. No, indeed, I was about to head back, answered the nervous Catherine, for she was abashed at his presence. She was abashed at his presence. He says that he's going to invite their family to a dinner or something, and then with that he kissed her hand, and after leaping onto his steed, was off back into the woods. So that was her meeting Oswald. I mean, he's like a nice...
I think I probably like him.
Me just like judging all the characters that I wrote. Okay, now we reach the real thing that I was thinking would be real funny. Introducing Lord Somerset.
So she's in London with her friend. Her friend's like, there's this guy and we should go and see him. And Catherine's like, are we allowed to? And then Miss Eastwood's like, oh, I've like written like a letter saying that we're going to look at the sights. Like we're going
Sightseeing.
Obviously they weren't. They were going to go see Lord Somerset.
Guys, don't follow this example. Okay, so they go to his house, and his house is like real grand. And so, here we go. The man himself soon appeared. He was wearing wealthy clothing. He came forward to meet them, but not in the usual manner. He stopped on the way through the room to adjust a figurine, or to brush his finger over the top of a bookshelf, and then glaring at the servant. Once he even opened a book and began reading. Catherine wondered if he had seen him or not. She's like, this dude.
This man.
Is not very perceptive. What would be your name? Miss Langdon, sir, she answered, almost faltering in her fear. For he was a fierce person! Exclamation point. Oh, do not tire me with last names. I do not care if you are a Jones or a Smith. Your first name, he ordered. Catherine, she answered, without looking at him. He had approached to a close distance, and was not more than half a metre away. She could smell his foul breath, and feel his eyes on her still. He has bad breath. I would never write bad breath into it, like a character in a book, unless they were like actually a character I didn't like. But when I was writing it, I liked Mr. Somerset, so why did I make him have bad breath? Moving on. Miss Eastwood finished her task and went to sit next to Lord Somerset, but he had other ideas, as he usually does. You would best suit the goatskin chair yonder, Isabel. Go. I am thoroughly sure that you would not want to displease me. So he's literally saying that a person suits a goatskin chair. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult. He's like, you suit goatskin chairs. The writing, though, of this, like, the characters are so extreme. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially Lord Somerset. I just can't get over how weird he is. This next thing.
Catherine and Isabella, Miss Eastwood, her friend, are still in London, and then they go to this ball that they've been invited to.
But I came here on business. Do you dance? He's like keen. He's like, yeah, enough with introductions now. Let's just dance, okay? Yes, but surely you could find yourself a more pleasurable partner, exclaimed Catherine, not realising that he thought her the best in the room. There is no better than you, Miss Langdon. Will you dance? He persisted. If you like, she replied, getting up from the seat. She was soon whisked about the room as she flew across the floor. She did not feel her spirits rise. In fact, she began to weary, for she was not used to the exercise. So a nice guy literally just asked her to dance, and then she's dancing, and she's like,
I'm tired. I want to sit back down.
The dance was about to finish when she tripped and found herself caught by strong arms. Upon looking up, she saw the face of Lord Somerset. Catherine got up quickly and stepped back as she said, Thank you, sir. You look hot, Catherine. Sir Henningston, shall you allow me to take her out for some air? The question was more of a statement than a question, and Catherine soon found herself out on a patio with only Lord Somerset with her, apart from a few others, who were talking in the lovely evening also. Sir Henningston arrived as Lord Somerset helped her into a chair, for she felt faint from the heat. Oh, you must forgive me, Miss Langdon, I have tired you. Can I get you a drink? Asked the concerned Henningston. Yes, she needs champagne, Lord Somerset answered for her. Catherine's protests were useless. Henningston was off. What brings you here? Questioned the lord. The Eastwoods were invited, and so I naturally have to come along, answered Catherine, edging away from him. You are, I perceive, still a fearful girl. It is a shame. You would make a wonderful lady, if you would only have some confidence. But I shall not lecture you now. You do not feel well, I presume. His sass, he's just like, so unfeeling. He's literally like bringing, oh, he's so weird. She says, I'm much better. I'm not accustomed to dancing. Then why did you not turn down Sir Henningston's offer? Interrupted the Lord. It would have been intolerable and unladylike, replied Catherine. There you go again, thoughtless girl, doing whatever you believe will please others. I myself have made a choice to do no such thing. As I can duly see, sir, answered Catherine, determined to say something rude to stop Lord Somerset's lecturing. She's like, as I can duly see, sir. That is better, Catherine. Yes, you must forgive my unrefined ways, but at least they are my own, said the Lord. Then Sir Henningston came back with the champagne. So Sir Henningston held out his hand to be shaken by Lord Somerset, who told him, do not pretend what happened is forgotten. We are not friends. Though I may be civil to you, you can thank me, and that is all. Sir Henningston frowned and then addressed Catherine. Do you want anything more, Miss Langdon? Can you not see, Henningston, that all she wants is some peace and quiet? Do leave the poor girl alone, declared Lord Somerset. Let her answer for herself, Somerset, said Henningston. The two men looked her way. They're like fighting over her. She said, I am perfectly satisfied to tend for myself. Do you know each other? So, like, I love how, though, Lord Somerset's like, can't you see all she wants is some peace and quiet? And meanwhile, the whole time Sir Henningston's away, he's like, oh yes, you're still your old boring self. Da-da-da, like ranting onto her. And she's just like,
Bro.
oh dear, my battery's about to run out. I'm gonna go charge my battery and then come back. And then we'll read the rest. Okay, we're back. I charged my phone and it's on 9%. So Isabella gets asked to dance by her Sir Henningston. Catherine laughed within herself as she thought of Sir Henningston having to be all politeness to her enthusiastic friend. Lord Somerset, as usual, noticed this emotion in her face and asked, what amuses you, Catherine? She answered, oh, nothing of any importance, and call me Miss Langdon, or people should suspect things that should not be suspected. She's like, do not ruin my reputation, Mr. Somerset. If you insist, and it is sure to be of importance, tell me. Catherine was irritated by his persisting manner and answered, I should not have the energy to relate a thing of no importance. Lord Somerset looked at her face with a confused air and said, could it be? Did you refuse me? No, I'm sure that I am mistaken. I did not mean to insult you, replied Catherine. That is just what I wish you to do. Now do it, said the stern lord. He's like,
Insult me.
how many people get people in their life telling them to just insult them? It's kind of weird. I shall dare to do no such thing. You are teasing me, I'm sure. I tease not, I speak in truth. You shall dare if it should be displeasing to me, I am sure. There he held her down from... Wait, we aren't there yet. Lord Somerset, I must go inside. I grow chill out here, Catherine told him fearfully. That's not what I do. I'd be like, I'm leaving, this is unsafe. You're kind of weird. You're avoiding the question. That is quite unsatisfactory. Here he held her down from getting up by the arm. She had no choice but to stay. Now insult me. Tell me all my faults and wrongdoings, Lord Somerset insisted. You are cruel, sir. Do let me go inside, cried Catherine. That is a start. I am cruel. I importune to hear more, Miss Langdon. Catherine was greatly distressed and cried out, I didn't mean such a thing. I have not the means to tell you your faults. They are your trouble and not mine. You must decide them for yourself. You have great reason, and for that I shall allow you to go. Yeah, this dude's seriously toxic. He's like so controlling and just weird. Like, and we all... So, I forgot to tell you about another factor in this book. I'm basically just reading you the whole book. There was, like, this bandit. That was, like, my mystery. Like, this whole book was meant to be a mystery, but then it kind of just ended up being a romance, because all my books just seem to do that. Like, I think, oh, this will be the point of them. And then if there's, like, some romance, it will just be, like, a side tad, like a side theme. And then the romance just ends up being, like, major theme of the whole book, and I'm like, oh well. Something very sad happened. My camera ran out of storage, so I didn't get the rest of my book on there, and now I deleted some stuff so I can quickly record the outro, but my phone's died again. Everything is falling to pieces. It's getting dark, so I think I'm just going to keep with the footage that I got. I got some pretty funny little bits that I'll piece together for you. There's like so much more embarrassing writing in that book, but it would take a long time to read it all because there's so much of it. Anyway, this was very fun to do. I really enjoyed seeing how my writing's progressed and how I write differently now, and how I'm glad I do. But also how I need to remember how I started and how I do love a lot of things about that book, and the writing and the plot and the characters. and I love them very much, but they're very weird, some of them at the same time. Lord Somerset, I'm talking about you. So yeah, thank you so much for giving me your time, for watching this, and I hope it was fun, entertaining in some way. And yeah, more videos coming soon. Keep being awesome. Till next time. See ya!